welcome back to Play and Trade Guitars. I'm John, that's Zach behind the camera, and you're here with us to review the B.B. King Lucille from Epiphone. This amazing guitar at a price point of $949 USD represents a great value with some top-notch, high-end features from Epiphone. I'll tell you all about it when we put it on the bench and pull it apart. Of course, I'll plug it in and play it. And keep in mind that if you're in the market for this guitar or any other gear, you can click to buy using our link. You'll get fast free shipping, easy payment plans, and yes, it does support our channel when you buy gear using our link. So thanks so much to all of you who have done that. All right, one of the all-time great of greats, B.B. King, Lucille. I'm sure you know the story, and if you're watching this, you know that that is some of the best tone ever produced by a guitarist or a musician, period. And we're gonna see how well this Epiphone B.B. King Lucille stacks up. So let's get it out of the case and take a first look before we pull it apart. Before I do that, be in it to win it. We're giving away a Gibson Les Paul Deluxe. It's a beautiful gold top guitar. Subscribe to our channel and check out the entry information. You enter via Gleam. Everything's in the description. You can also become a premium channel member, get access to our backing tracks, and a whole lot more. So thanks to all of you who have done that. Let's get to work on the B.B. King Lucille. I love his playing, I love his tone. Let's see how this stacks up. At $949, it does include what they call the EpiLite case. In my honest opinion, this is the worst of the Epiphone cases, so I would invest probably in a hard shell case to protect that beautiful guitar. Let's get it out of the case and take a look. All right, behold in all its glory. What a beautiful guitar. Some standout features, you've got a true ebony fretboard. That wasn't available on past iterations of the Epiphone B.B. King Lucille. So beautiful ebony with block inlays. Check this out, you got like a very retro TP6 tailpiece. This was like one of the Norland era with these fine tuners. And a pair of the Alnico Classic PRO humbuckers, which are probably my favorite humbuckers from Epiphone. They really do sound good. And you've got basically a classic semi-hollow design, except check it out, no F-holes. So it's got a very sleek looking black gloss finish with no cutouts. Because there's no F-holes, it's also a little bit convenient to access the electronics. And speaking of electronics, there's a lot going on. We've got this Varitone switch, which we'll talk all about on the bench. But you actually have access to all the electronics via the back panel, which is kind of nice on this guitar. It's got a C-shaped neck, so it feels a little thicker in the hands. Beautiful appointments. I mean, look at Lucille, Epiphone, gold tuners, gold B.B. King truss rod cover. Everything is just stunningly beautiful on this guitar. Let's head over to the bench and pull it apart before we plug it in. That's a beauty. So you can see we have this beautiful Lucille pearloid inlay, binding on the headstock, and simpler kind of plain binding on the fretboard itself, ebony board, binding on the body, which looks nice. Again, no F-holes, beautiful black gloss. I've got the strings loosened up, so we're gonna look at this relatively obscure TP6 tailpiece, which Gibson used during the Norland era. And you can see that the ball end of the string kind of slots in here. And you also notice that these little dials are here, and what those are basically micro fine-tuning dials that just adjust ever so slightly the pressure downward on the string, and that'll change just incrementally some of the pitch and the way it sits in here. Graphtec nut at 1.68 inches. First fret at 0.83 inches, up to 0.95 inches at the 12th. So it's not necessarily a very thick neck, I would call it probably a healthy medium. Semi-hollow guitar, arch top design. Body thickness comes in at 1.77 inches at the lower bout. We'll go ahead and flip up these humbuckers. We're looking at the Alnico Classic PRO humbucker in bridge and neck, and these are great sounding Epiphone humbuckers. We've definitely played these before. And we're already starting to see some differences from our typical Epiphone semi-hollow. Check out down in the cavity, you can see some of these metal caps, which I'm guessing probably house some of the capacitors involved in the Varitone switch, which we'll talk about in a second. As I get ready to take readings with the multimeter, I will say that one of the unique features about this guitar is it's got stereo output capability. So if you're running mono, you want to put your 1/4 inch in the top jack. But if you have a Y cable, you can actually take advantage of the pretty unique stereo splitting and split the sound of the humbuckers across a stereo cable with a Y cable. In just kind of traditional mono mode, we're going to use the top jack. You'll get yourself in trouble if you plug that into the bottom one. It's a little bit of drawback. You got to be careful. If you plug it in the wrong one, you're not going to get signal from your neck pickup. So I'm going to plug it in the top output jack, flip on our multimeter, and we'll get readings from these pickups here. 7.7 in the bridge, Alnico Classic PRO, 7.4 in neck, and then 3/8 combined. Standard volume, volume, tone, tone, and then here's a real big deal. Here's what we're talking about here with the Varitone. So we have a 6-position Varitone switch, which was developed by Gibson in the 50s. And basically what it is an EQ notch across the EQ spectrum. So starting in position 2, you start to engage a notch, and what that means is you're reducing the overall level of certain frequencies. Starting with higher frequencies, and then as you go from 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 to 6, you're reducing lower and lower notches across the frequency spectrum. And I guess really, I mean, I can explain it, and you're probably scratching your head like I am until you hear it, and you'll hear the distinct tones that can be pulled out of the Varitone switch. There's basically a dedicated capacitor for each one of these settings, so lots going on, lots of wiring going on in this guitar as well. And it is nice on a semi-hollow guitar to have a back panel, because usually it's so hard to fish things in and out. Kind of like that. It's also kind of a nice touch that they recess this plate, because sometimes they cheap out and you just see the plate like sticking on the back of a semi-hollow guitar. It's nice that it's recessed and set in. And then lifting it up, you can see some of the hand wiring. We have upgraded CTS pots. You can see that Varitone switch there with all the wiring going on. Kind of a cool view of the inside of a semi-hollow. See the bracing as well. All right, let's get a weight on Lucille here. 9 pounds, so on the heavier side for a semi-hollow guitar. 9 pounds on the nose. All right, I'm excited to plug this one in. Turning it around for initial reaction. Comfortable neck, not too thick, not like a 50s profile or anything, but not super slim taper. Again, kind of a healthy medium. Good feel from the ebony. Ebony is always a nice, smooth playing experience. I like the gloss finish on the guitar. Really sleek looks. Beautifully constructed. I don't see any sharp fret edges. I don't see any construction flaws on this guitar at all. And as one of the more expensive Epiphones at $949, we should expect near perfection, right? Or perfection. And this one's pretty much delivering. I don't see a thing wrong with this guitar at all, so I'm really happy to plug it in. Remember, if you're in the market for this guitar or any others, click to buy gear using our link. It really does help us. Remember, at the end, I'll give you my final score, honest raw reactions to playing this guitar. I'm gonna get plugged in. We're gonna show you some clean tones, dirty tones, and then put it behind a track and let Lucille sing. B.B. King Lucille from Epiphone 949 with the case. I'll tell you what, it was a lot of fun to play this guitar. I'll tell you what I liked about it, what maybe I wasn't crazy about, but overall, I really dug this guitar. You stuck with me to the end, so I'm gonna give you my reaction, I'm gonna give you my final score, but I'll tell you some standout features. These Alnico Classic PRO humbuckers are probably my favorite humbuckers Epiphone makes, period. They sound so good for that vintage tone, which they absolutely nail. The shape of this neck at a medium C is really comfortable. I love the ebony fretboard. It's such a smooth playing experience. And then let's talk Varitone. It takes some practice because, let's face it, all the controls for this guitar, and this is a big boat of a guitar, it's 9 pounds, everything is down here. So I will tell you, unless you are sitting or unless you have X-ray vision, you're never gonna know which number Varitone you're on. So it's really more of a feel thing. It's like, you can feel it moving across kind of the EQ frequency, and especially you can really notice the tone when you push with some overdrive, the difference. So I actually had a lot of fun, I can't aim for a number because I can't see it, but just flipping it kind of out and then pulling it all the way back in and getting that contrast of tones, I really dug that. It sounds really cool. It's basically a filter, that's how it functions. And it gives you some cool sounds. I think if I designed the guitar, and I'm not B.B. King, so it worked for him, so it's probably worked for all of us. But I think if I were to put the Varitone switch somewhere, just for practical purposes, I'd probably put it up where like a Les Paul toggle switch goes. I'd want the Varitone where I could kind of have more of an idea. I mean, it is fun to have. I don't have another guitar with a Varitone switch on it. I actually really enjoyed the experience and the sounds. I'll tell you what, I would rather have a Varitone than a coil split. I have a lot more actually usable sounds from this Varitone than I do from what I get of kind of the weak single coil impression of a coil split, which I'm not all that crazy about. Varitone, much more usable, much cooler sounds, I thought, with that kind of filter. Anyways, overall playability, fantastic. Neck is beautiful, ebony is beautiful. I will detract points from playability because of the impracticality of having these controls down here. That does make it harder to play. I'll also detract from playability because of the weight at 9 pounds. The shape of a semi-hollow guitar kind of wants to pull away from you, to the effect that even though there are Les Pauls that are heavier, they kind of sit in a little bit more balanced way. These guitars really kind of pull on your back, especially when they're 8.5, 9 pounds. This one's 9 pounds on the nose. So playability, I'll tell you, I'm gonna give it an 8.0 in playability. All right, let's talk overall sound. Overall sound, I was really having fun with this guitar. You can tell I suck at getting around this control because it's just difficult to use. But when I found a sound, it was fun. It sounded great. Alnico Classic Pros are great. I'm gonna go ahead and give this guitar I'm gonna give it a 9.2 in sound because it really does give you something extra beyond the humbuckers with the Varitone that makes it usable and fun to play and inspiring. Sound I thought was out of this world. And then overall value, it is one of the more higher priced semi-hollow guitars. Epiphone nails their 335 dot, which is much cheaper and also has the Alnico Classic Pro pickups. However, for the true B.B. King Lucille experience, I think for what Epiphone is offering, the way that they built the quality guitar, everything that you're getting in this package, I am completely blown away by my experience of playing this guitar. It feels fantastic, it sounds great, and I'm gonna go ahead and give it a 9.0 in value. So that brings us to an overall score of 8.7 for the Epiphone B.B. King Lucille. I would absolutely recommend this guitar. It's worth spending a little bit of extra money to get the beautiful cosmetic appointments and everything that you're getting out of this guitar. Remember, if you're ready to buy, click to buy using our link. It really does help us out, and you'll get fast free shipping and easy payment plans. Be in it to win it with our Les Paul Deluxe Gold Top giveaway. Consider becoming a premium channel member. You get access to all of our backing tracks and a lot of fun perks, and you can see all the info for those in the description. Check out one of these demos. Make sure you're in it to win it. Thanks for hanging out on Plain Trade Guitars, and see you guys next time. Take care.